Two of the Republican Party's top candidates seeking the GOP nomination to take on Virginia's incumbent junior senator, Democrat Tim Kaine, in the general election this November, spoke at a pro-Second Amendment rally in Richmond, Virginia, on state capitol grounds on Saturday. E.W. Jackson, a Chesapeake minister, and Corey Stewart, the chairman for the Prince William County Board of Supervisors, took to the podium to show their support for the Second Amendment.
And yes, I'm a spiritual man, so I want all the criminals who might see something like this to know that if you try to hurt me or you try to hurt my family or try to hurt some innocent person, I will shoot you, but then I will pray for you.
Every single time there's a tragedy in this country, every single time a madman goes into a school and kills kids, who do they blame? They blame you. And they blame all law-abiding Americans. They blame conservatives. They blame the President of the United States. This is deliberate. But we know that all of us, our hearts break too when we see these things happen. But unlike the left, who actually enjoys the fact that these tragedies happen because it plays into their narrative, it plays into what they're trying to do, they don't honor life, folks. They disparage it. We are the ones who want to protect our families. Now, we know that the only way, the only proven way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
The candidates took the opportunity at the podium to campaign as well.
We have a popular president of the United States who not only is going to get reelected in 2020, but he's going to carry us to historic wins this November to expand our Second Amendment rights and the other rights that we have in this country. I ask for your vote and your support on June 12th in the Republican primary, and let me tell you this, that when I'm in the United States Senate, you're going to have a friend who's not only going to be stopping the liberals from taking away your rights, but you're going to have a friend and an ally who's going to be working each and every day to expand those rights in the United States.
So we're going to defend our Second Amendment rights. We're going to defend our First Amendment rights. We're going to defend our rights under the Constitution of the United States. And we're going to make sure that the next generation, if you elect me, you're in the United States Senator, I'm going to go into every high school, every college, every place I can go and begin to tell them about the nobility of this great nation, and to tell them, instead of complaining about what happened 150 years ago, you ought to be celebrating on the fact that stands before you today is a former foster kid and a great-grandson of slaves running for the United States Senate in the United States of America. That's my country.
I asked each candidate why they thought they would be better than the other to represent their party and take on Tim Kaine this November.
But the big thing is this, and that is I'm the only one who's been able to win in Northern Virginia. I have won 4 times in a row, countywide, Prince William County, one of the big 3 counties in Northern Virginia that Republicans have to be able to win in order to win the election. I've done it. I'm the only one who's been able to win, proven ability to do so.
I think people are looking for non-politicians. I'm not a politician. That's not the background I come from. That is his background. And look, here again, if Corey were to win the nomination, I'd support him without any question. But I think people are really looking for folks who are bringing a fresh perspective to government, and having come from the outside looking in is exactly the perspective I think people want right now.
During Jackson's speech, he said he is not an African American. He is simply just an American.
Well, I want everybody here to know, and I want all in the media to know, I am not an African American. I am an American. An American. I am fighting for this vision, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I questioned Jackson about the Republican Party's lack of support from African Americans and minorities.
For a reason. One is I think Republicans have not done a good job of messaging to the black community. Look, I come from poverty. My wife grew up in the projects. I was raised in foster care until I was 10 years old. I really am a great-grandson of slaves. Gabriel and Elijah Jackson were slaves. But I realize that government can't solve the problems of poverty. It's going to take something different. And I believe that the Republican Party has not expressed the desire to see people fulfill their God-given potential and go to the highest place they can go.
Jackson said he doesn't believe you can uplift a race of people, but by uplifting people within a certain race or group, you can uplift everyone.
The conservative message is a message of compassion for every individual. I don't believe it's possible to raise up a people. I believe it's possible for individuals to raise themselves up. And when every individual in a culture says, I want to be something, I want to do something, you guess what? The whole culture, the whole people rises up. And so I want to take a message of hope and opportunity and potential and possibility into the black community. I'm not going to be asking black people to vote Republican. I'm going to be asking them to vote for me because it's going to just be me and Tim Kaine on the ballot. So I'm going to be asking them to vote for me and my values and my background.
Jackson said he has defeated Stewart before in the 2013 primary for the party's nomination for lieutenant governor.
He and I ran against each other before, and I won, but also, I'm a political outsider, and Corey, with all due respect, is a political insider.
After securing that nomination, E.W. Jackson would go on to lose in the general election to Democrat Ralph Northam, who is now Virginia's current governor. Corey Stewart pointed out that in 2013, when Jackson defeated him, it was at a convention, which is different than this year's race, which will be decided by a primary.
He won a Republican convention back in 2013. There's been a lot of things that have happened since then.
In a convention, a limited number of delegates choose the party's nominee. In a primary, every eligible voter in the state can vote for the party's nominee. Stewart says that while he and Jackson are friends, they do have some differences that he thinks will secure him the nomination over Jackson.
There are some differences, some policy differences. E.W. Jackson, for example, wants to remove Confederate monuments and place them in museums. Obviously, I'm against that. I think that they should stay right put.
There are several others that are seeking the Republican nomination as well, but they did not speak at the rally. This is a race that will keep voters on the edge of their seats until the primary in June. Breaking Through will continue to follow this race closely and keep our viewers updated on any new developments. To see our full report on Saturday's Second Amendment rally, be sure to check in with Breaking Through on our Facebook page and YouTube channel tomorrow morning. From the Capitol grounds in Richmond, Virginia, Theo Whitelow for Breaking Through.